All right, in this breakdown, we're going to take a close look at Perplexity. It's an AI that's really trying to shake up how we search the internet. We'll get into what it can do, and maybe more importantly, where it falls short.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Perplexity, it's not your typical search engine. They call it an answer engine, and that's a pretty good description. See, instead of just dumping a list of links on you that you have to dig through yourself, it actually reads a bunch of sources and puts together a direct, complete answer for you. Honestly, it's a totally different way of thinking about getting information from the web.
And this really shows you where Perplexity is trying to fit in. On one side, you've got Google, which, just gives you that classic list of links. On the other, there's ChatGPT, which is fantastic for creative back and forth. Perplexity is aiming for that perfect spot right in the middle. It wants to give you straight answers, but, and this is the key part, it ties them all back to real, verifiable sources. That's its whole sales pitch.
So you might be wondering, how does this all work under the hood? I mean, what's actually happening to take your question and turn it into a neat, sourced answer? Well, let's pull back the curtain and take a look.
It all boils down to a four-step dance. First, you type in your question. Then, Perplexity goes out and does a live search across the web. Next, its AI brain, the language model, chews on all that data and pieces it together. And finally, it spits out a summary with all the sources right there. The whole point of this method is to try and cut down on those infamous AI hallucinations, when the AI just makes stuff up. By forcing it to stick to the facts it just found, the hope is to keep it honest.
And here's a perfect example of what makes Perplexity different. Look at this. Every single claim in the answer has a little number next to it, and those numbers link directly to the source. You can see them right there in the text and listed below. It makes checking the facts super easy, which, let's be honest, is a huge deal in today's world.
Okay, so we've got the how down. Now let's talk about the what for. How can you actually use this thing in your day-to-day work? We're going to move beyond just simple research and see how it can help you actually create stuff.
Right, so there are two flavors, free and pro. The free version is great. It'll get you pretty far for quick questions. But the pro version, that's where things get serious. It's really built for people who need this stuff for their jobs. You get way more searches, access to the top-tier AI models like GPT-4o and Claude 3.7, and you unlock special features like deep research. We're talking about a tool for journalists, researchers, analysts, basically anyone whose job depends on getting deep, accurate info and getting it fast.
And the use cases here are really all over the map. It's not just for asking trivia questions. Think about it. A market analyst could upload a dense financial report and just ask, what are the biggest risks here? A developer could get an answer to a tricky coding problem without having to spend an hour on Stack Overflow. It's a real workhorse tool that's meant to speed things up for a whole lot of different people.
And they're not stopping there. With a feature they call Pages, Perplexity is making a big leap. It's moving from being just a tool for finding information to one for creating with it.
Yeah, what's really fascinating about this is the ambition. The whole idea is to let you take all that research you just did and instantly turn it into a polished, shareable article or report. It basically completes the circle, right? You go from discovery to publishing all in one place. It's not just about learning anymore. It's about sharing what you've learned.
Okay, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. For all its impressive features, we really have to talk about the other side of the coin. There are some pretty significant risks and limitations here that you absolutely need to know about.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question. Can you actually trust it? I mean, even with all those sources, Perplexity can still get things wrong. So how reliable are these answers, really?
One of the biggest problems is still hallucinations. The AI just making things up. And as this user on Reddit found out the hard way, it can get really bad when you're asking it to analyze your own documents, like PDFs. If it can't even pull information accurately from a file you give it, that's a huge problem. It kind of hits at the very core of what the tool promises to do.
Then there's the problem of what it's citing. The system isn't always picky. It can grab info from unreliable sites, outdated articles, or, and get this, even from other AI-generated content. This user found an answer that was based entirely on a LinkedIn article written by another AI. It's that classic garbage in, garbage out scenario. If the sources are bad, the answer is bad, and the whole idea of fact-checking just falls apart.
But things get even more serious. There are accusations that Perplexity is basically ignoring the rules of the road online. According to reports, its web crawlers are just blowing past the digital do not enter signs that websites put up to block bots. This is a huge deal, ethically and legally. It opens up all kinds of copyright battles with publishers who understandably, want to control their own content.
And the company's official response, well, it hasn't gone over very well. The CEO basically said the crawlers come from another company and that stopping them is complicated. As you can imagine, a lot of people see that as a pretty weak excuse. It really just shines a spotlight on this massive fight happening right now between AI companies that need data and the people who actually create that data.
So it's really important to remember what this thing isn't. It's a tool for processing information, period. It's not a creative partner or a wise advisor. Think of it like a ridiculously fast research assistant, not a genius. It can't give you opinions, it doesn't understand feelings, and you definitely shouldn't take medical or legal advice from it. It's also stuck with what's public on the web and won't remember your last conversation.
So to wrap it all up, Perplexity is, without a doubt, a powerful and innovative tool. It's changing the game for how a lot of us do research, but it's also walking a tightrope, dealing with some really tough technical and ethical issues that it hasn't solved yet. That puts it right at this fascinating intersection of innovation and controversy. And frankly, how it deals with these challenges is going to decide what its future looks like.